exactly that.
Right, but Paul has a workflow where he has Debian in a completely separate branch that doesn't have upstream source in that branch.
Right.
Convince me this makes sense.
You're crazy. Let's make it easier.
He also said he likes SVN build package.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
you can just like get log on the top directory and not worry about it, and like
Does
you don't
your
have,
upstream
you
use
don't have to
Python?
Python and like and when you like because of reasons.
Raisins. Wait, reasons.
Historical raisins.
And I have like a whole spiel, but I don't know.
I will personally write .get/config alias for you to log in that directory.
And you never end up like even like when you have upstream artifacts, they can like get out of sync with the tarballs. Like if you forget to pull and like the packaging changes and you build it and like ends up working, and then like
This didn't happen to us yesterday.
it didn't happen at all, did it? And
wait, actually, I don't understand.
Well, for me, I like
if you like forget to pull correctly, then you can end up with
If you
stuff
forget
that's
to do the merge from upstream back into your Debian branch, then everything
Well, you
breaks.
can do it later, but my problem is
no,
that
right, but then it doesn't, like, it's not correct.
right.
You can
For
also
me,
pull.
I merge from upstream if the tarballs are uncontaminated. If I have to do Debian free software guidelines and repackage the tarball, I forget about the upstream history, and I generate my tarballs from their upstream distro commit history. But then in my packaging Git repository, I commit just my clean tarballs, and then I go off that. So for me, I do both workflows.
So once you have generated the table, you commit it to pristine down
Yes.
branch and
Yeah,
whatever?
the ones that I generated myself. I commit those, and then my history only has like Debian packages, patches, and Debian free software guideline tarballs. One per commit with no upstream history because it has all the bad stuff.
I wanted to ask you if better tooling could solve your problem. And for instance, if we had a pre-receive hook that made sure that the upstream branch would push before the Debian branch, and a Debian changelog entry of 1.2 actually descended from a tag 1.2, that sort of thing.
That would make me a lot happier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that would make it
okay.
a lot happier. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you can get those two halves out of sync, and that's where the problem
I still
starts.
think it's like innately gross, but it's still when I see it, I don't like it, but it's fine. I can live with it. I have to work in other teams that do it this way. This is not a problem. It's
You
not a
can
problem.
filter which tags and branches you pull.
Yeah, I know. But like, you like look at the Git tree and history, and it's like.
So,
So where you need to strip, strip things out,
if I can't redistribute
why
it,
don't you make those? No, I understand why. When you do that,
yes.
why didn't you make those changes as a commit on a branch from the upstream?
I can't redistribute that file.
Yes.
That file is part of the Git history. I am distributing Git history on Alien. I do not want to distribute that contaminated history.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah, but that's a non-solved answer for all packages, anything on Alien.
If it's not distributable in the archive, it shouldn't be.
I mean,
should be
if
on
FTP master rejects that file,
Yes.
why should I store it on Alien?
You
Yeah,
should.
but that's a
So that you can
non-enforced
understand
policy.
how what you've got relates to
Well,
what's upstream.
So what do you, one thing,
I would agree to use graph points such that physically it's separate, but there is a link in history and metadata. to it.
You're concerned about things that are not distributable as opposed to non-free.
Yes,
Right, exactly.
non-distributed.
Yeah, exactly.
so that seems like you could solve that with just like you have the,
There's a tool for that in Git that can remove a file and go
Yeah,
to
graph points,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
Then you damage the history.
Filter
Yeah.
branch.
filter
Yeah,
branch.
filter branch.
So the same sort of thing you do in repacking the source in Debian rules, you do that to every single commit.
We are in string.
And you make a,
Where what?
We're string.
the root's being streamed to the internet.
Oh God.
Beware.
I hope we should. I'll tell you.
Hey, York.
Hi.
And like none of the video team is here, so we couldn't tell.
Yeah, move the camera away. So
There's no reason to turn it
point to
down.
the wall.
There's no reason to turn it down. Are you
Yeah,
sure?
that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
It's fine. So you could do something. Again, I'm proposing tooling, and I think this is not terribly complicated tooling to write, where where you say,
It's
I'm
only
going
like
to
IRC.
make my Debian history diverge from like commits on top of my non-Debian history that I can't distribute on Alliop, and the parents are there, but there are rewritten commits, so the parents don't actually exist on Alliop. And so you can clone it, you can actually interact with it, but some of the parents don't exist.
Well, I think there are 2 points. One is I'm quite sure it's a non-enforced policy right now, and I'm sure there are loads of undistributable stuff on
There
iOS.
are.
So there is no particular reason why the patent team should care and others not.
Okay.
That's one point. The other point, I think rebases are okay, and I'm doing rebases and non-pullable things on various of my repositories because mostly I know I'm alone pulling from them. And I think if you mail the maintainers list saying I've rebased for this or this reason, please make sure you have the new version, then I don't think it's that bad.
I mean, Git DPM, it in essence does rebase each time, but it keeps the history of each rebase due to merges, such that I can go back in time and see how the patch series was rebased on top of each upstream.
Thankfully.
And then, thankfully, that's the idea. And in that sense, I kind of like it, because you do want to see the clean rebase of what Debian is doing to a package, yet you do want to see the snapshots of that action.
Git DBM is an excellent example of this, but it's just worth thinking about this conceptually, that even if you are rebasing commits, if you have a different branch that has each of the results of the rebase as one of the parents, now you have a non-rebased history that includes this. And that's what Git DBM does.
Yeah, I think we should get focused on things we have to solve, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So, we're still not, on the workflow, it seems that everybody is okay with using Presentar.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been using tag-based generation of the OREC file when I just follow the upstream git.
Okay.
Is that, are you comfortable with that, or do you think I should, whatever happens, use Presentar?
Is the Git tag signed?
Yes,
Do you verify the signature of that tag?
I do, and I have the signature, my
Then it's
signed
fine.
signatures with upstream.
That's fine.
There was discussion in the previous room where we said we should be using pristine tar, even if we are generating our tar balls, just so that you know how the tar balls are generated, and you don't have to guess.
Well, I think the answer to
You don't need to guess because there's the debian/gbp.conf that tells you that you are using tags.
That's
reasonable.
But
Frankly, I think
that's only the case where there aren't upstream terminals.
Okay,
Yes.
that for you, I prefer to use upstream git.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that case, so you will have to address it this way.
I mean, what to do
What
if there are
I
both?
prefer to use upstream git rather than the table?
If
Are you guys okay with it, or
Are they
do
both
you-
identical?
No.
No.
usually not.
No, because
I-
one point is that I'm going to use exec conversion.
But what is it? The problem is that the Git tag is signed, and you can compress it better. The tarball is often not signed.
Well, this is my question.
They should send the turtles.
They should, shouldn't they?
Problem solved.
And they should
Next
implement
problem.
it to go to the history, shouldn't
They
they?
can also sign the target the upload IPI.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not my question. My question is it okay with you guys that I do like that, or do you prefer that I
If the original tarballs are published, we should be using them if they are signed.
we should or we must?
No, I think that's current Debian best practice.
That's current Debian
I
best
do
practice.
have concerns about not using the upstream tarball if upstream is generating tarballs.
Truth.
I do because it's less efficient. You're going to spend more work.
But
to do
what-
that.
I'm less concerned about the efficiency than I am
Yeah.
about the discoverability of what the packaging is doing. If we're working on the same package, okay, it's a team package,
Yes.
and you haven't done it this tarball way, then I come in and I say, well, I haven't seen Thomas in a couple of weeks, and I need to fix this thing, and I do what I think the team does, then I'm not going to know that. I mean, maybe if you specify everything in the readme.source.
No, that's
It's
fine.
just- okay.
The point
first thing
is-
is that I will have to do that, to do a readme
Yeah.
source, because upstream do want me to document that I'm regenerating
Yeah.
tables
Yeah.
and not choosing what they publish.
Yeah.
Second thing is that, as I said, in the debian/gbp.conf, you can say I'm using tags.
Yeah.
So there's two ways you can know.
Yeah, but it's still something that is less discoverable.
Yeah.
That it's a deviation from the norm, and I'm not saying that it's not a good reason. I'm just saying I'm uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
And what is
there
it
other
for me?
reasons
The
that are
problem
also
is,
uncomfortable with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
for me, the problem is that a lot of times the tarball is different from the
Yeah, absolutely.
history, such that when you do the export, it can be different from the
Which is
tarball.
why I want to use Git, because usually it's cleaner.
It's not clear. The generated files are there for a reason.
I mean, I've seen things
Yes,
that.
for Popeye, not for us, it's for Popeye.
That's what they release as tarball. That's what they intend as
Yeah.
things for the
That's-
public consumption.
As an upstream, if you're releasing to the cheese shop, your mental image of that release is that tarball.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. You should make sure that those things actually built from source.
No.
Yeah,
no.
a lot of the time they don't.
Whatever is in the tarball
Yeah,
is
sure.
distributable.
A lot of
Who cares?
time the branch builds and the tarball on cheese shop does not.
But that's,
don't care.
no, but that's true, and I've had a couple of cases like that, and I go back to the upstream and I say, you effed up your tarball.
I'll send you an email
Please
next
fix
week.
it.
And that's a good thing, because it makes life better for
Yeah.
other consumers of Tobbles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it means that no matter what, we just use Pussytar.
I think
You
we're never
agree
going
with
to
that?
get.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're never going to get to no matter what, because there might be an
I
upstream.
mean, if there are no tarballs published,
I think the
stop.
default.
So as a
default-
rule,
there's
we
a
use
default.
Yeah.
You
If
should-
there is a tarball, use tarball.
Yeah.
If there are no tarballs published, then we use the tags or commits
Yeah.
or
Well,
VCS
I have
generated
another
things.
suggestion.
Of course, there's still cases where you have to rebuild Tobbles because of non-free things,
Yeah.
or the 50 meg image in there.
It's
Yeah.
this-
Or
it's
the
thing-
audio file of
Yeah.
how to
We-
pronounce the name of the project.
Yes.
But we have techniques in Debian
Source
to do that
ciphers.
tarball rebuilding, which,
Well, and even a bit of pristine tar.
yeah, which.
So it's the same 90-10 thing. 90% of the packages,
Yeah.
you should be using upstream tarballs if they exist, and otherwise you should be generating tarballs out of the tags and checking those into pristine.
And
Yes,
then
that's
we,
correct.
And then we put it in Pristintar?
Yes,
Or-
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean
Totally.
you cannot use upstream's Git history
Yes.
Yeah.
as upstream.
Right.
Either pristine tar will have a large diff with whatever was put in the tarball then,
Yeah.
or you create another branch that is like upstream plus artifacts or upstream release artifacts, and you just create the diffs, and then you have something in Git that has that representation. And I think it's more interesting to have upstream's Git repository than only the tarballs history, because then you get the individual
Yes.
changes.
So, branch names. So, anyone want to start with that?
Yes.
It's easy.
Debian/sid.
Well, this branch, we also have to talk about tag names. But
One by one?
yeah, but for branch names, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have a lot of experience with it, but when I used not the default branch names, I thought it was a good idea at first, and then I kind of hated it. So then I renamed the branches to master, pristine tar, upstream.
Yeah, that sounds good.
What I do is
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
do
not
for
good
everything.
enough.
That's what I do.
Not good enough.
What's that?
That's what I do for everything.
Yeah, see?
Okay.
There's one. I mean,
Or you can be more explicit and use Debian instead of master.
Texas C just overrode me.
It's less easy.
Pristine tar,
Uh,
upstream, and master. Yep.
So why is it not good enough?
I prefer Debian/sid, Ubuntu/trusty.
no, master is master. Master is the head of development.
Yeah.
Whatever that, wherever that
Master
goes.
is the branch for upstream. Never use master for us.
I like that opinion.
No,
as
it's
well.
Because like you will have a hell of a trouble if you rename and have conflict with that
That's
same
different
branch.
things.
Well, you will add.
Origin/master.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Sorry,
right,
sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
totally, yeah.
What I do is master for whatever is the head of the development, whether that goes to experimental SID or
Yeah.
Ubuntu, whatever, and then you do
Yeah.
suite-based names like
Yeah.
master-wheezy if you have to do stable.
So your
And if you don't-
remotes are
if you don't care,
Origin/master,
then-
and your
Yeah.
remote is Debian/master,
Yes.
and then your remote is
So
Ubuntu/master.
Right, so do you,
Yeah.
no, yes,
No.
your upstream, the project that is publishing the Python without any packaging, is a remote named Origin. Origin/master is their master. Us, we would be a remote named Debian.
Remote-A. Git remote-A.
Wait,
Why,
our server-
why wouldn't you be Origin?
Yeah, that's neat. I mean,
Or something. Or
What-
we
what-
would be
Remote
remote-
names don't matter.
yeah, what you have on Alias is a
Yes.
repository with master that has the Debian
Yes.
packaging, upstream that is whatever is masters on
Okay.
the upstream side.
No.
That doesn't mean you
And
cannot say.
how do you do backports and
You create a new
and-
branch.
Yeah, and what would be its name?
Wheezy
Wheezy
backwards,
backwards,
Master
just-
dash
yeah.
backwards.
etc.
Do we
Wheezy.
need, do we need master dash? Just,
Yeah, whatever.
There
Don't
is
you think
never,
master if you come from
yes,
master branch?
dash,
Master
not
dash.
slash.
you can
Slash is
you
also-
ask
also
anyone
Mm.
what master means on a Debian packaging branch. You will have a different answer depending on who you ask, which is therefore why I think using master as a name is wrong.
Well, I turn the question differently. If you ask anyone what master means for Git repository, they will always say it's the head of development.
Yep.
But who's developing?
Who's the developer?
Wherever you clone it
the
from.
repository. So
Yeah.
if you
repository is
privilege
hosted on
grub
Debian.
/ grub.git is not the same as upstream's grub.git. It's obviously has much of the same history, but these are two different repositories, and master means a different thing in each.
Okay, so
Actually dependent.
that's the case. So that we have, you just said it. We have master, which means two different things.
Yeah,
No,
well, that's fine.
no,
Yeah,
and how's that a problem?
and it turns out that master means different things when you check out from an entirely different repository. This is not a
Yeah.
surprise.
If I have a GitHub clone of your repository and I'm doing some work on it, my work will probably be on master, but it will be github.com/jeffd/repository/master, not github.com/u/master. That's fine. That's how people tend to use Git, I think.
Yeah. When I created a fork of Torvald/Linux on GitHub, and it's xnox/Linux, and then I have master branch, I don't think anybody believes that I actually released Linux Torvalds.
Yes.
And if you do, then please, don't use that.
This despite the fact that GitHub, when you click fork,
Yeah.
will keep the description. And so I've
Oh,
got a
yeah,
bunch
yeah.
of repos that say the official mirror of, and I'm like,
That's true.
There's certainly another way then. I believe that we should make sense of our branches, and that we should have branches targeting the distribution that we are doing packaging for, which I think is
Yeah.
best to have Debian SID,
Okay.
Debian Wheezy, Debian JS.
Because is master
Right.
pointing to experimental or to SID?
Yeah. Where does 99% of your development go to?
Trunk.
Get out!
Well, that's true.
Unstable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, virtually all of the Debian Python team's development
Yeah.
is
Yeah, like-
targeted unstable. This is
Will change in November, but yes.
controversial.
So let's call it Debian SID then.
So you can, you will end up having to write that in a bunch of places, and it will be tedious and annoying.
That's
What would
It
be
is
annoying?
automatable.
Well, you have to go
Yes.
run VCS-star fields. Everybody has to know which thing to check out rather than it
We'll
just
need
being
to
on the
update the remote head of every single
I think-
repository.
Right.
I think if
It's
the
certainly
problem,
doable, but
Yes.
it's,
Okay,
it's
I
annoying.
will make that
swimming
point
against
later.
the stream.
I think the head should always point to SID.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
manual thing
And
that you
the
have to do on
easiest
the
way to
remote.
make sure that happens is to use the name master.
Yes.
Another.
No.
You
Yeah.
can also
No.
you can also automate the
Yeah, we
configuration
could,
process.
but-
And we probably will, one way or another.
There is no way in the Git protocol to change where a remote head points.
Of course there is. Either Git protocol, maybe not, but using SSH. And we all have access to Git channel, right?
Using SSH, yes, but I'm saying that for annoying reasons that relate to the Git protocol, there's a convenience factor in leaving remote head being master.
And I think if the problem is that upstream's master has to be upstream in our Git repository is an issue that's just either a tools or a documentation issue. We should not be blocked by that.
I also, well, I guess remote head is probably.
Okay, we'll call it master. Job's done.
Well, and then the question for
Me
the
against
others.
everyone.
And you start your own packaging team. Oh wait, you have. Oh, burn. Oh wait, we're streamed. I should be known.
It's all right, people have met you.
It's
Yeah.
not necessarily SID, it's the head of
No, it's Sid. It is Sid.
It is
in
SID,
practice,
okay?
It's in practice.
And we have to know which one we're talking about.
That's
let me find an example. You have released a new thing to SID, you're now doing some weird changes on the packaging, you push that to master for comments, and then someone says, well,
No, you push it to experimental.
No, you push that to master because it's the head
Oh,
of
yeah.
development.
Yeah,
and
no,
then,
I'm with you. Yeah.
and then people say, well, that should probably go to experimental first.
Yeah.
So you cannot roll back the master branch without sending a mail to the mail.
So-
It's still ahead of
So
development.
the use case that
Yes,
you are
that's why
telling
it's
me
not
is that
SID,
I'm
it's
going to
master.
check out the repository and I will never know which one it matches.
That means change log, man.
experimental.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? I like how Diget deals with that. So it has a set of branches which must match what is currently in the archive, such that if you get an NMU, you know that you take that branch, you commit an NMU, and you push it. And then the head of master development is a separate branch. Most of the time, it's the same commit as the Debian/SID, but at times where you push something new which hasn't been uploaded yet, you push it to master, but you don't update Debian/SID. And then once you upload and tag it, then you match your master and your Debian/SID matches.
Yeah.
But that adds an extra branch to maintain.
But that doesn't work all the time.
True.
You have Jesse, and you have a package in Jesse, it matches the Debian/SID/whatever. So the suit don't match.
Yeah.
What matches is the version all the time.
Well, yeah.
As far as and tags, of course. As far as Debian/SID, Debian-SID go, just watch out for implicit mismatches. Like I think Git DPM still has problems if you end up using that.
Yeah.
It still has some problems with master style branch names that have slashes in them. So
Oh, God.
there's some. I think it produces it works, but it produces something that is very unintuitive.
yeah, there's an assumption that slash separates the remote from the branch's name, which is not true, but it's a general assumption.
I think you end up with upstream-debian/SID or something.
Oh,
you
God.
End up with
Is that why they don't use slashes in the tag names, whereas
no, tag names
Git
still
build
have
packages?
slashes in them.
Yeah,
Tag names
tag
still have
names are
slashes,
fine.
but branches I think
Maybe it's
are strange.
Yeah.
I forget the exact constraints.
I wasn't sure when you just said Debian/SID, whether you meant remote Debian branch SID or branch Debian/SID.
We're
I
discussing branch
meant
names.
branch
Or-
Debian/SID.
It is
Yeah.
that is the obvious confusion when you
Yeah.
use a slash branch name.
Yeah,
Mhm.
true. So I would suggest dash.
Yeah.
Not time constraint. So
Either master dash or just Wheezy.
You're well over time.
We've already had an hour next door.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Literally bike shed. Right, so. Green.
Make the upgrade branch, bike shed.
What's that?
Yes.
Oh, yes, no, that's great.
So we have two choices here, either master dash Wheezy or just Wheezy.
Yeah.
I suggest master dash Wheezy.
For
When you do a stable update.
I would prefer not having master as
Yeah.
as an element, but
That was a Stroman
it
proposal, so
seems strange, but sure.
either A or
I'm
B.
not
I
actually
was
in
proposing B,
DPMP, so
but
whatever.
yeah, just do Wheezy, I think it's better.
Yeah.
Just Wheezy, yeah, no master.
I'm just proposing things to have a
And we
proposal
have
on
a
the table,
stable
otherwise we never
guarantee
move
that
forward.
the name suits our
That
unique
always
utilization
says
file.
Yes.
Plural, yeah.
On both sides. Sorry.
Tag names, do we need to talk?
Yes, we do.
The Ubuntu guys are interested in that.
Yes.
What's wrong with just using what dep-commit -r produces?
Git DPM and Git build package use different tag names.
Git DPM can have, you can ignore it, the tagging it.
I'm sorry, you can
Ignore
You
it.
ignore it.
So I use Git DPM for everything.
Thomas, I
completely
think that's a
ignore its
wrong
tag naming convention.
discussion.
So what is the tag name that
No.
Deb
Well,
changed?
dep-commit -r produces Debian the
Version number.
version number
Without
mangled to fit.
epoch, well,
Mangled to fit.
yeah.
Yes.
Without
So
artifacts.
we want to do the default with Justin Tar then. Is it?
Yes.
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 That's what you guys want.
Well, you don't have, you shouldn't really not have multiple branches for upstream, unless.
Of course, you first. How do you do for following with Wheezy and
Well,
stable?
Well, you have only
So-
one history.
What about
you
if it has
can
a
do
stable release branch? I don't know if that's the case.
So for multiple upstream branches, you obviously have to build history present. You don't necessarily have to have a ref for a push ref for all of them all the time. So the sorry to go on about Git DPM. The approach it takes is to stick the SHA one of the commit that is the upstream for that branch in Debian/.git DPM, along with some other stuff. And that means you can always reconstruct the upstream when you need
Okay.
it.
So no
So that works too.
no other
Well,
just one branch.
Yeah, just one branch.
No, it doesn't work, because in the previous hour we decided that we have the full history. So if you have the full history, your Debian branch has as history the whatever version you're basing on.
You have the full history, but there's no reason you have to have refs for all for the
You don't
upstream
need
bit,
an
the
upstream
pointer
ref
of
and a
that.
branch in alias. The fact that it's part of your history.
As long as you can
Okay, yeah, the objects are on alias, but not necessarily behind a branch.
Yeah, yeah, they don't have a branch
So,
name associated
I
with it.
have a dumb question. Why do we need an upstream branch at all in that case?
Right,
Just keep
so-
upstream tags.
Just keep upstream tags, keep it in the Debian history.
I mean, if you're,
Okay.
it depends on what I don't know what GPPQ uses.
Right.
DPM can be constructed locally with git dpm prepare, and there's no need. I tend to push it anyway, just because it's easier, but you don't have to. I have no idea what the other tools use.
Well, and the fact that you have a branch for things like upstream is quite common, so it's an expectation to be able to like git log the /upstream.
Yeah. I think that makes sense for the case where there's an obvious single branch for upstream, and in the case we're talking about where experimental is using a different upstream branch, or stable is using a different upstream branch, or whatever it is, then it's not clear what should be the upstream.
But there are some.
As,
You can always
as
only push
dep
the
commit generates. As dep commit generates.
Dep commit does that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But type it out that we base what dep commit does instead of actually specifying.
One word.
Never use dep commit.
Dep commit -r. It finalizes your changelog, it commits it, and it generates a signed tag, which is suitable for Git if you have columns or weird things in it, and then you just push. And
Does it sign the tag?
Yes. By default, it asks you to sign.
Say.
And what is it? And dep commit works with Git, Bazaar, Mercurial, SVN. It works with anything.
You wouldn't do that after an upload.
Huh?
You wouldn't do that after. It says
Yeah,
after
exactly.
upload
That
step.
that must be before.
Well, it is
Yeah.
before, yes, because yeah.
Transparency.
-r gives you the upload commit.
Well,
for Debian tags before upload.
before
Like,
upload
it-
and
that
push.
match the upload.
Right.
It doesn't really matter when they get
Before
there.
or after, does it matter?
Corresponding.
Yes.
Corresponding to
Yeah.
upload.
Yeah, okay.
Corresponding.
Does anybody know if it's possible to get git push to use --follow tags automatically?
Yes, there is a config option in 2.0.
Right.
So the answer is currently no.
This is new. What does --follow tags do?
Follow tags is push all of the tags that are referenced from something else, that refer to something else that is pushed.
So
that is in
yeah.
the target.
No, that's
It's
useful.
what you actually want.
That's what the tag that should be a default.
Yes,
Yeah.
it should be the
That's
default,
slick,
but
yeah.
it's-
So, in the sense of, if anything is new, then push the DAC course.
Well, if,
No, no, no,
if,
no,
there
no.
Are, if there are any tags that refer to objects which exist in the thing that you're pushing to, in the remote,
So
then
if
push those tags as well.
Yeah, because if you do git push tags --all, it will push all tags that you have, which may be completely random crap which you've tagged for yourself and shouldn't be public. --follow, if you push master, and the tags that are reachable between now and then in master, all of those tags will be followed.
It's not default because it's in some workflows you might want to
Not
tag
do that.
things locally, like this is where I started this kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I think for the workflow, there is still one thing we didn't decide on. So we, as I understand, we can use git build package, git dpm, or git qp, right?
Yeah, GBPPQ.
Okay.
that's Git.
So
Git build package.
if we use
Yes.
on the first and the second option, if you use one or the other, it doesn't matter. At the end, it's just git build package.
Yes.
There
The
is,
question is, do we want the third one or not?
Isn't that a question whether we have to specify a helper tool, or we can leave it up to the individual maintainers? And I suspect that we can't. The latest things I've seen on the mailing list are that we can't because they're incompatible. So we can't use git dpm and git build package PQ on the same package.
One leaves patches, DPM leaves patches applied in the tree without documents. DPM don't use built, but it uses it leaves patches applied. GPPQ leaves patches unapplied, and also I think it requires pushing a separate branch that has patches in it, I think.
They're not only incompatible, they also use totally different paradigms, which makes it even harder when you just land on a new package. So
To
I
me,
suggest we should settle on one.
Yeah. I have a dumb tool question. Can we solve this with tooling? Can we automatically convert one to the other?
can we, what?
Can you automatically convert
Oh,
one
the
to
answer
the
is
other?
the answer is of
detect
course
which-
yes,
you
because
can
the
easily
common format
detect
is.
which is in use.
Well, the answer is yes because we ultimately
yes.
convert to 3.0/quilt,
One expects
format,
the tree
which is the
to
standard.
have
Right,
certain
but both
files
of
in
those
it.
generate three.
Well,
And
so
the
yeah.
other one expects
Which is where
those
your
files not
conversation's
just
going
that.
on.
Yeah.
But I mean, they both generate perfectly valid 3.0 quilt source package. They have different representations in Git of that.
The tree itself
Yeah.
is different.
Can you filter branch one into the other? Like, is it possible for people who want to use?
Don't say filter branch because it's destroying history.
I have no idea.
If I want
suspect
to
it would be
use-
hideous.
If the team wants to use GDPQ as the canonical representation and I want to use Git DPM,
I've never used PQ, so
is there a non-painful way for me to make that happen?
Who has used PQ?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
almost no
right.
one has used either.
Apparently, I tried them both. And I've also used
Debian.
DPM,
Okay.
just that on that one package, the 6 package that Colin maintains. I felt more comfortable with Git DPM, but I can't say that I have a lot of data points on that.
In that case, like, because everybody never tried except you, then we are all in case 1 and 2. It won't bother us. That's
Well,
what
there is still the
Right.
simple, just have a Git history with the Git Debian/patches manual management, and then
Yeah,
you
but
just
that-
do your quilt thing
Nah,
management.
we don't
which,
want that.
which exists, but it's a worse in all worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
But
my,
we
my
do have a lot of
suggestion is that
expertise in that.
if people don't have enough data yet, then I don't see why you need to decide this now.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's a great strategy, but also
You do
along
have
with
to figure out what to do with converting.
Yeah, also along with that is that we two things. We should not do a mass migration until we do decide on one or the other. And I'd like for there to be, once that decision is made, even if it's a painful way, to convert A to B.
Is there any way to import a Debian patches quilt repository into either of these?
You can
Yes.
certainly
Yes.
import into Git DPM.
Yes.
It doesn't import the full history, but it will take the current state and turn it into a series of commits against upstream merged into master. And
So we
Probably
could,
not.
so we could import the current important releases from Snapshot with quilt series and later switch to a helper.
And what about
Yes.
the other one?
How are we converting history?
I have no experience.
That was worked out. There's like
That was
a whole bunch of
discussed
tools,
at
yeah.
our
Are you keeping SVN history or are you just importing DSC as it is? What would you
The
decide?
tentative plan was to import DSCs
Yes.
of old, stable, and stable, and nothing, don't go back to Snapshot. If anyone cares, they can use
Good.
Git
Draft
replace, they can use
history.
Git replace.
Wait. So just one for old stable?
DSC for old, stable, stable, and SID.
So just 3
There's
commits? Oh, 3 commits.
There
Oh,
is a tool which
It
goes
can import DSC.
right, which goes through everything on Snapshot.
Well, because if
that's-
it's just 3
that's
commits,
just
we can
the top
generate
thing.
the whole thing for Git DPM, the whole thing for
There's actually no
PQ, and tell people here is a sample to repositories, go play around with it, and within 2 weeks tell us which one you prefer.
It's not a bad approach, right?
That's, I think that'd be a good approach.
And if it's just 3 commits, then we can convert it using either of the tool, and everybody will have package that they know
Yeah.
to play around with.
For that sort of thing, you really only need to convert current state for something that has a few patches.
Yeah.
And play with it.
Oh yeah, packages without patches, they don't care, do they?
Well, yes, with
No.
few, it's better than having 110 patches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just uselessly painful.
And the source format 1 packages.
Sorry?
And the source format 1 packages.
Die a fiery death.
Die what, sorry, Dad?
A fiery
It's a
death.
tool that builds
Oh.
on top of Git build package.
But that's already said, like,
Yeah, just very excited.
So are we saying doing a mass migration into both, or just opportunistically?
Few samples.
Maybe just do like that, like
Yeah.
10 in both or something.
Realistically, if we want to have some results, we got to set up a deadline. At which point we decide which one we want to use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much time do we give?
5th of November is a good date, I heard.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's 2 months is reasonable.
Well,
Yeah.
that's actually a good data point. Maybe we should do that for experimental after everything that was, because the important work now is making sure what we want is in Jessie. So we might have some preparation work and do that after the freeze and prepare that calmly after the freeze is done. I think.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I think that's a good idea.
Sounds great.
Make decisions shortly after things.
Because otherwise we will
When we
rush
should-
and have
when we should
half
be
of the
fixing
things
RC bugs.
within Jessie and
The fun bugs to solve.
What did you say?
Well, we should be fixing RC bugs rather than convert to Git.
You're making the point that we shouldn't migrate before the freeze?
that doesn't mean we don't prepare the migration. I think we should
And
prepare
experiment.
and experiment, but not change anything on the SVN in time for Jessie because the energy should go into Jessie and not into
Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
So packages uploaded to SID before the freeze should still be in SVN.
Yes.
Sure.
This means that if you modify a package after the freeze, you have to change the VCS headers?
That's a problem of how
I mean,
source
it's
packages
fine.
are currently. I mean, how packages metadata is per suite and is uploaded to the archive. That means when you want to check out an old stable package, someone should have make sure the repository is still there.
So
It'll
here,
be QA.
so I have a
Right.
That's a job for.
I have a slight refinement maybe to the proposal, which is that I guess I could say, and I don't know if this is a good idea, but that you could
Try it.
opportunistically, if you were interested in trying one out, you would opportunistically convert it to Git and just maintain it in Git using one of the two helpers, one of the two regimes, and essentially ignore Subversion from then on.
Yep.
If the regime that you chose is not the one that we end up with, then we have to convert that particular package. But we're not going to do a mass migration until after the freeze is over. And that I think that allows people to experiment, but not have to worry, oh my gosh, I now have to, I've uploaded from the Git repository, but now I have to also keep the Subversion repository.
Well, if you do upload from Git repository, change the VCS.
Yes,
tags.
absolutely.
So
Make sure it's accurate.
Yep.
I believe that we will have a lot of activity in our VCS after the release, and I think probably the freeze time is a good moment to do the migration.
Yeah. I'm just saying that from now until then, I don't want to have to keep Git and Subversion.
True.
Sure.
Yeah, no
So
question.
do we agree that we keep the
Okay,
SVN
when was like
until the freeze,
Yeah.
and then the migration happens during the freeze? Is that, do we all agree on that?
Sorry, say that again.
We don't change anything until the 5th of November, and then after the freeze, we can start the migration. Do you agree on that?
The mass migration.
Yes.
I'm saying that until before the mass migration, you can pick a package. Because I think that if you're going to say, I really want to experiment with Git TPM, I'm going to pick a package that I'm working on a lot, and I'm just going to do the migration. I'm going to learn how to do the migration to Git. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to learn all the pain points. But once I've done that, I'm just going to live in the Git world. And I'm not going to deal with. I'm going to update the VCS headers,
You can-
and I'm not going to deal with Subversion.
Can you still continue to use Git SVN?
Yes, because then it just uses SVN behind the
Yes.
scenes.
Yeah.
So you could do it.
So your proposal is that from now until the freeze, you can use either SVN or Git, as long as either using existing SVN workflow or you use some Git workflow that goes by those constraints that we have decided on, but is free to pick other stuff that we haven't yet
Yeah, and
decided
then
on.
you also
Try not to do
accept
too many packages.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't go around converting everything
Yeah.
just because you like it, but if you would like to experiment, you're welcome to. It'll be considered team maintained. You can upload it to SID. You can get it into Jessie.
Yeah.
etc.
And be ready to if you have to cope with the rebase
Yes,
later
yeah.
on.
Possibly you will rebase because you would rebase in SVN anyway. You would do a new
Yeah.
tech now.
I'm even cool with saying pick one of each. In other words, if you want to go to switch to Git, pick one and do Git GDP, and do one Git DPM, and don't convert anything else. Just pick one and do both and see what you think. And absolutely let us know. Email mailing list.
So when do we decide then?
Around the freeze.
Time frame?
December 1.
Yeah.
December 1
December 1.
sounds a good
Well, November
date.
6th.
Leave a few minutes for discussion.
Bike shedding.
No, the discussion should already happen before before. I mean, before, then we should set
Fine,
the
decide.
Yeah, we need that deadline
Yeah.
so that we
Fine.
can make
I
a
can
decision
do
beforehand.
November 4th,
Maybe a few of us can have a shot doing some conversion stuff during dinner.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I would do it.
So, we decide on December 1st?
November 6th, it sounds
That's what, it's end of August, so.
That's 4 months.
2 months. September, October. Yeah, a little more than 2 months. Is that enough time
Yeah.
to experiment?
Well, it will need 1 or 2 very motivated monkeys to do that anyway. So, unless someone volunteers to be that monkey, it will not happen then.
Yes.
Right.
So November 6th is a decision deadline, not a migration.
Yeah.
Nobody's planning on getting up morning of November 6th, migrating everything by midnight.
If we're there, we can do it.
Yeah, I'm not stopping anyone from doing it.
Look, anybody who wants to do the migration, you can come over to my house and, feed you and.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so where are you?
I'm in DC.
Oh, okay.
That's not
In
close to
Maryland,
my
but
place.
close enough.
I would go over there.
Yeah, I would.
So,
Wait a second. Wait a second. I must caveat that. I haven't checked with my wife.
So now you're trying to get out of it.
But everything is.
It's on the
street
record.
stars.
It's on the record.
Recorded, it's probably gonna end up in there.
Yeah.
I live out of a hotel, actually.
Awesome.
Go team.
Yeah.
okay, who will email this summary?
Yeah. Yeah, good question.
I mean, absent of anyone else, I can, but I haven't done any Python work in like 5 years.
Thanks, Stefano.
Yeah,
For the IRC.
Okay, if you actually accept that, then we're done here. I think you have to say yes before we can leave.
I'm prepared to have a shot at it, but I was going to have a shot at it anyway.
Right.
Okay, cool.
That's not a commitment to do it.
Alright.
Well, there's a lot of hacking time here, so
Yeah.
I'd love to sit down.
I would like
We
to
can
let
try to
you-
do a few conversions.
There's a lot of things to do as well.
Good. Congrats.
I learned a lot about Git from this conversation.
Oh, wasn't that kind of the point?
Yes, so?
Yeah, no idea.
There's so many fascinating things that get.
They're hard. That's line one.
So many things.
Well, fascinating and stomach turning.
The fascinating ones are line one.
Yeah.
Strike things.
I write code automatically stack to it. Generate the table, push it to table to the existing tar, and
Honestly, someone,
I want to press when
you
the
know what
table
I'd be
is
excited
started.
about
I don't
doing?
want to download my-
Writing
Yeah,
tools
you should
that
make that really
automatically
good.
takes new
should
uploads
like
to
do all
cheese
that.
shop, turns them into pristine tar branches.
Yeah.
And so there's just cheeseshop.debian.net, which has a Git repository of everything on the
That'd be
cheese shop,
sick, yeah.
unpackaged, but just.
Wait, actually, I could just auto stdeb it.
Do it, man. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Like, there should be apt.gshop.debian.net. No guarantees provided. Do it.
I don't think we can put
For all your untrusted code versions or it needs.
Hey, Docker.
Right.
Fine.
Don't run it as root though.
Yeah.
Well, root is the
Yourself
Docker.
fine. So what about stuff that's non-stream shop?
Whatever. Debian.net, man. There are no guarantees of anything on Debian.net. Also, the webpage is CFDL with period sections.
This is what happens with all group discussion.
And after, of the
Dude, I should do that.
We'll discover this was all wrong in a few days anyway.
Yeah, seriously.
Chicago or cheese?
That's why the cheese.